Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be sharing December Daily Part 1 for Day 15 or Story 15. I wanted to create a folio insert based off of Pam Baldwin's. I will link her blog series and the post that I use to get the instructions and the video and everything. But she is fantastic and such a wealth of knowledge when it comes to different December daily ideas. She suggested taking the 10 by 8 folder for the papers and cutting it down to fit into a 6 by 8 album. So I trimmed the top and the bottom and also where it was bound together and saved that piece. Technically, I did not need to save that piece and it's going to cause a problem later on and you'll see that. But it was super simple to cut it down for a 6 by 8 album. I then went ahead and added in some texture paste. I think Pam added in paint with this same stencil, but I just wanted to try texture paste. I always include that in my December daily album at least once, so it's going to be fun to have it for this special insert because this insert is going to hold the stories about our little getaway in the middle of December, which was so fun. Just like so special to have a getaway in the middle of December. Like, who thinks of going on vacation in December? Well, we never have. So it was a real treat for us to be able to do this. Take off work, not go to school, and just go to a little getaway. So for the stencil, I put it down with some washi tape and completely cover the area with the texture paste, and then I gently peel it up and put it down on the next section. I also use paper to kind of get the excess at the bottom of the stencil, and then that way it doesn't look like a streaky line, because sometimes that happens with texture paste at the bottom of the stencils, at least for me, because I feel like a novice when it comes to stencils and texture paste. I am going to make sure to do the other portion that is not covered with texture paste. I just needed to get a scrap piece of paper and just maneuver my stencil to where I liked it, and then I can go ahead and add in the texture paste. I always use plastic cards that nobody's using anymore, and this time it was a Chuck E. Cheese card, which worked perfect, and it allows me to get good coverage all over the front of my folio. Now the next step, this is where I goofed, my friends, but I wanted to share it with you anyways. That way you know you do not have to do this step unless you're going to make a smaller folio and put it inside of a pocket inside of your 6 by 8 album. If not, don't do this step because it's just going to make things complicated. So I added in this piece right here so that way it could almost be a bound folio insert and it was not open on the left-hand side. I do not need to do that. It's going to cause a problem later on. I just was so excited to start making this insert like I saw Pam, and I didn't completely follow the instructions like a dork, and it's going to take me a while. I should have known that something wasn't right when I went to go hole punch and it would not go through the hole punch. Like it was way too thick and wasn't going to work. I'm going to move on and collect some pieces that I want to put in the folio insert. I know that I'm going to use some page protectors because I'm planning on taking a lot of pictures, or I knew at the time that I was going to take a lot of pictures and I wound up doing that. I finally took a waterproof or got a waterproof case. I should actually say my husband made sure I had a waterproof case for the phone, and I was able to take pictures at the water park for the first time, which was just amazing. I'm also going to stop hoarding that 1 through 10 paper and just jot down 10 little stories or pieces about the little getaway. Now, this 1 through 10 paper is 6 by 8, and I need it to be a little bit bigger, so I cut a strip of paper so that way it could be a little bit bigger and I would not have to punch holes on the actual numbers. I went looking through my die cut drawer and I found Festive Fun and along with a transparency. I also thought it would be fun to include some sort of 4x8 transparency in the middle of my page protectors, so I just have to decide which one. I also know that I want to use these transparency tags in my 2x2 pocket page because I think that would be really fun, and I'm determined to use a lot of them. So I decide on a bold green 4x8 insert, and I love it. I'm also going to use one other journaling card, Making Spirits Bright. I am going to mark the holes that I need to punch, and then I will have my husband basically wrestle the hole punch into punching the holes. The layers are so thick that it's just not going to work. So I think earlier when I was talking about how this is going to be a problem, I said something about punching the holes. What's going to be the problem is I can't turn the pages, and you'll see that in a little bit with my album. For the front closure, I put adhesive on 1/2 of a star and then stapled on a 15, and I think it is a fantastic way to put in the number, and Pam showed instructions for that as well. So the inside of this cover is just fine the way it is, but I'd really like a blank canvas or to be able to add, white paper or something. So I'm going to get some white paper and jazz up the inside of the cover in a little bit. I hole punched this little XO, or maybe it's just X's, I don't know. But I put some holes on that, and then I could adhere it down and add in the 1 through 10 paper. And like I said, super excited to finally use this paper and stop hoarding it. I wish that Allie would do a 1 through 10 paper every December daily because it would be so fun to figure out a way to use it. I also found, when I was looking through my stash, a really fun label that says time to reset before the holidays or something like that. And I will add that to the 1x10 paper. On the back, I'm going to add festive fun and then this circle transparency stapled, then using double-sided adhesive tape. And my thinking on this page is I could do a collage of 2x2 photos or 3x2, and then maybe some stamping or something like that. Definitely photos and definitely a collage or a grid of photos. And then the next page is going to be, I think it's going to be a 3x4 pocket. No, 4x6 pocket. This is where I add the label and I just trim off a little portion and adhere it down to the 1x10. So, and I love it. Taking time to rest before the holidays. That's what it says. So the next little piece is going to have the 4x6s. I told myself that as I was making this, I was going to make sure that I was going to get a selfie of all of us, and I did. And so you guys will see that later on in the next part of this big old story that I have. I'm going to use a 2x2 page protector, but I am going to take off one portion of the 2x2 and include that 4x8 insert. And I think when I put this all together, I am not going to put anything on that insert. I think it's just a fun, colorful pattern to just add in there. There's a transparency that says laughing all the way and warm winter wishes, and those are just perfect because this is a heated indoor water park and we were laughing at so many different points during the trip, and I will definitely share those little stories with you in the next part of this big story, like I said. So I want to add white paper to the inside cover, and that way if I decide to add a photo add a photo is my intention because I want to add a start photo and an end photo. I want to be able to do that. So I take an 8.5 by 11 paper and I'll adhere it all the way down. And I have this like scrap of a red paper. It's really bold and I think it would be perfect to add for the opening cover, but I'm just going to have to finagle it so that way I can get it to work and fill in that whole section right there. And I'm also thinking that once I put that red piece down, I'll have room for a vertical photo, like a large one, either 3x8 or 4x8. So that would be really fun to include right when you open the folio. So I just put the paper that I have, the scrap paper, down, decide to cut off a piece of it so that way I can measure better. I think that was my thinking. because I made sure that the scrap, the whitest part of it, went down first, and then I could add in the second piece. And you really can't tell that it's two separate pieces, and now I have a scrap piece of paper that was completely used. So that's fantastic. And I have a spot for a vertical photo as well. And I did make the decision to just go ahead and leave an itty bitty gap up at the top. No big deal. I'm just gonna leave it there and then keep moving on. Trim off the excess that's hanging over with the white paper and the red, and then I can punch the holes in a little bit. But again, don't need the holes. I need it to be completely open, and I don't realize that until I go to put this into the album, and you guys will see. Oh my goodness. It was like, it's just, you get these ideas, like I always say, you get these ideas and sometimes they work, or sometimes you get so excited, you don't follow the directions completely and you don't watch things all the way through to make sense. You can see here, I'm trying to like wrestle and add in the hole punches for the white paper and it's not working. But I'm going to try to get it into the album and see how it looks. It is looking amazing, and this almost makes you want to have a folio insert for every single year. I don't know how this would be possible, but it would be a lot of fun because it was a lot of work to put the photos in and bring it all together for the second part. Okay, so this is where I cannot move this. I can't turn the pages, and I'm thinking to myself, why is it like this? Like, what did I do wrong? I couldn't figure it out. And so I don't know what clicked, but something clicked, and I realized I can't turn the pages because I have to have open binding. Like, I don't need it to be closed. I need the folio to be as if it was a piece of paper that you turn in the album. So I'm going to have to get my paper trimmer and trim off the binding that I had. So that way it was a completely enclosed folio. Because like I said earlier, you could totally have a completely bound folio if you had a smaller version of this. So that way it could fit in a pocket. But if you're going to have a bound one, the pages won't turn inside the album. It just won't. So I just trimmed off right in the middle where the holes were, and now it's going to be an open folio and I can turn the pages and there is no problem. So I add in this first section, then I will add in the 1 through 10 with the festive fun, the 4x6 horizontal, then the 4x8 and the 2x2 page protector, and finally the back cover. The holes were kind of tight on that green page, but I finally got it in. I may have had it upside down. I'm not sure what I did, but I finally got it to fit. And then the back cover, and it looks fantastic, you guys. I love it. It turned out amazing, and I'm so glad that I had the time to put this together. I have the enclosure to keep it together. And oh my goodness, I'm excited to show you guys how this all came together because it certainly was such a special project to put together and such a fun time together. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.